Hi, it's Caitlin, and I'm here with a new collection that is inspired by the zodiac signs. This is the Zodiac Collection from Glisten Glow. It's a collab between Jill, who is the mastermind behind Glisten Glow, and Jenn at Caffeinated Cuticles. This has been in the works for 2 years, and Jenn and Jill are good friends. So this is kind of like a product of their friendship and creative collaboration. I love to see it. If you are planning on picking these up, they are either available now or if not, on April 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Obviously, there are 12 polishes, but I feel like I don't pay enough attention. I thought there was like some extra sign that got stuck in there, but I feel like no one pays attention to that because it would just throw everything off. So these are based on the 12 classic zodiac signs. And I mean, I like to dabble in astrology. I like to read about it sometimes. I do think it's really interesting when I think about like compatibility of signs, because the signs I'm most compatible with are the ones that I should be most compatible with. And that was before even I knew anything about astrology. So I think that's interesting, and I just think it's fun. So anyway, no one probably cares about what I think of astrology. So let's just get into the nail polish. I'm going to go in the order, I guess, of the first signs of the year through the last ones to keep some sense of order to this collection. So we will start off with Capricorn, which is a rich red loaded with holo flakes. All of these are loaded with holo flakes, so I won't repeat myself a bajillion times on that front. This is a really gorgeous, what I would consider more like a cherry red. I feel like there's a slight pink undertone to it, and it has such a beautiful formula. It is very jelly, squishy, and juicy. And I was really happy with the coverage in 2 coats. I will be using the Glisten Glow Top Coat for all of my swatches, which adds fantastic shine. It prevents shrinkage and chipping and tip wear. So it's the top coat of choice, honestly. I love it so much. And you can see that it adds an incredible squishiness to the polish. And I am going to do a little blurry shot for all of these so you can see the holo in them. Moving along, we have Aquarius, and this one is an incredible deep navy blue. Pretty much all of the collection has a jelly finish, but some of them are a little more jelly than others. This one is definitely very jelly, and it is one of my favorite shades of blue. These go on like butter. You can see between the Glisten Glow formula and the paddle brush, these practically apply themselves to the nail, even though I did literally just get some on my finger. But usually when that happens, it's just because I can't see around my camera, which I'm using to film. But this has fantastic coverage in 2 coats. I don't think anyone's going to need more than 2 on this. And it looks like the night sky in all honesty. It's rich and beautiful, and I love this polish. I was nervous about it staining, but I did wear almost all of these colors on my nails for about 48 hours, and this, I didn't even use a base coat, and I didn't have any staining. So here we have Pisces, and this one's a medium gray. This one might be one of the ones that I consider more of a crelly than a jelly, which just makes sense with the color gray. It's kind of hard to create a jelly out of a gray. And this has a really beautiful undertone to it. I don't know if it's a slight brown undertone, but it's really classy and elegant, if that makes any sense to call it classy and elegant. And I really love that color. It's kind of like a mink taupe gray. And you can hopefully see what I mean. Compared to the last two, when this one builds up on that second coat, it's pretty much like a cream versus a jelly. However, you will note that you can still see the holo through the layers, which I think is exactly what you want. Obviously, you don't want the base to eat up the holo. And the holo that Jill is using, I would say, is quite rainbowy. I am going to do a comparison towards the end of the video between this holo flake formula and the Holo Taco holo flake formula, just to put everything in perspective. Moving along, we have Aries, and this is a rich teal. This one is a really unique color. I don't see this color a lot in the indie world, and I don't think I see it a lot in the mainstream world. There's like an OPI that's coming to mind called Amazon Off, and I don't even have that side by side to compare, but that's kind of what popped to mind, and I don't think that color is very common, so I like seeing it in this collection. Again, we're back to a very jelly-ish formulation, and I'm just obsessed with jellies because they look so squishy and they keep their shine really well, and I love that tiny bit of transparency you get. However, these do all cover my visible nail line, what is showing of it, and you can see this one. I did build this one up in 3 coats. It packs in even more holo flakes, so you can leave them in 2 depending on the formula, or 3 if you want to really amp up the holo flakes that you're getting. Next up is Taurus. This one's a grass green, and it's a really pretty shade of green. Very bright and very springy. And just as a little spoiler, I guess it's not really a spoiler because you could see it on my thumbnail, but I do include a tutorial for some nail art I did, and I was able to show it off in the sunlight, so you'll be able to see these in the sun. But I do want to reiterate that these are holographic. The holo flakes themselves are definitely like the silver holo hybrid, but they still catch the light very nicely, and it's not going to be anything like a linear holo. That's not what this polish is. These are holo flakes. They have that dispersed effect, which is sort of like little specks of holo that you catch with the light. So I did 3 coats on my index and only 2 on my middle. You can kind of see the difference in how they look. The index definitely looks totally opaque, maybe even more cream leaning, and the middle one keeps a lighter look to it just because there's less polish. Moving along, we have Gemini, which is a coral, and I always have to laugh, and I feel bad for Gemini sometimes because I feel like they have a really rough go of things. They kind of have a bad rap, but I personally tend to get along very well with Geminis, and apparently that makes sense with my astrological chart, but I'm always a little bit suspicious of them, so sorry to all the Geminis out there. No, that's a really weird thing to say, but I don't know. I think I am slightly, unfortunately, hung up on the concept of certain things in astrology, especially when it comes to relationships with people. So maybe I have to work on that. But anyway, This polish is absolutely beautiful. I love the color. I think it is really unique, kind of salmony, but a little more intense. And you might also notice that the holo seems to pop more with certain colors than others. And I think that's all just contingent on the base color and the base opacity. So this one, 3 coats on my index, 2 on my middle. And at some point when I was swatching these, I did decide to do that for anyone who's curious and to see the difference between 3 coats and 2 coats. So you can see what I mean. You can really see the holo really well in this one. Moving along, we have Cancer. This one's a rich magenta, and ooh, this one is so pretty. I'm a little jealous of all the Cancers out there who get this as their Glisten Glow Zodiac polish because it's maybe my favorite in the collection. I absolutely love the base color. It's like a juicy cherry kind of. It's just so pretty, but not really because it's more pink, but it's beautiful. And again, I think the holo shows really nicely through the layers of this one, and it's beautiful. Cancer's a water sign, and that's another sign of the zodiac chart that I struggle with. So yeah, but they get a beautiful polish. So look at that. This is so pretty. I'm obsessed with how this one looks. This one is definitely, just again because of the color of the base and the opacity of it, I think the holo shows up really nicely with this one. Moving along, we have Leo. Love, 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 love Leos. This one's a sunshine yellow, and this one is so much fun. Has the perfect bright sunny yellow base. My sister's a Leo, so she was kind of like, oh, of course we get the yellow, but I think it's a beautiful color, a beautiful formula, and it just makes sense for Leos. And you can see this one is definitely sheer and it builds up beautifully. This one I think is best in 3 coats, but it also looks really fun if you leave it in 2 if you're okay with a sheer look to it. And so that's where you can see the difference. 3 coats on my index, 2 coats on my middle finger. Hopefully that's helpful for anybody. And the funny thing is, just as I was editing this video, one of my favorite podcasts had Chani Nicholas. I think that's her last name, Nicholas. I know Chani's her first name. She's got like an astrology app. But they uploaded a video with her as the guest, and I was like, this is crazy timing. And I learned a lot from her, from that podcast specifically. So check it out. It's the Gayotic podcast with Muna. And I think there's going to be a second part to that in a week's time, which I will definitely be listening to. Here's Virgo. This is a vibrant purple. It's super bright, super pretty, very grape jelly. And again, I think that the holo shows up really nicely in this one in particular. I also think that the distribution of holo in these polishes is really nice. It's not overpowering. You get a great taste for the base color, and then the twinkle from the holo is just an extra bonus. So beautifully done, beautiful formulas. I didn't experience staining with any of these, and they were not difficult to remove because they are holo flakes, they're not glitters. And that's one of the added bonuses of Hollow flakes versus glitters is that they're not difficult to remove and they don't add texture either. So if you're one of those wild people that doesn't use top coat, you're still going to get a relatively shiny finish without texture. Whereas if this was glitter, it would definitely be textured, definitely be more difficult to remove. Moving on, we have Libra, which is a chocolate brown. This is a really pretty polish. This one is definitely leaning more towards crelly versus jelly, but you still see the holo quite nicely, and I love a good brown polish. Again, I don't think brown nail polish, especially this kind of shade of brown, gets enough love, especially in the indie community, so I'm always happy to see a brown as beautiful as this. I also love Libras. Yeah, Libras are great. And you can see this one when it builds up in 2 coats. It has beautiful coverage, not too deep, still very rich, and again, that holo pops really, really nicely. You can also see the glass-like shine that the Glisten Glow Top Coat lends, and I am totally here for it. So here we have Scorpio, and this is a black jelly, which I always love black jellies. I have a very challenging relationship with both Scorpios, and it's probably because my moon sign is a Scorpio, and so all the things that I don't like about Scorpios are the things that I don't like about myself. So when I see other people doing those things, it like triggers this intense feeling in myself. So I'm very conscious of that, and I'm embracing the Scorpio because I love this polish. So I'm embracing my inner Scorpio with this one, and it definitely suits the Scorpio vibe based on being a Scorpio moon. If there's any Scorpios out there, Scorpio moons, you probably know what I'm talking about. So this again has a beautiful formula. The holo pops really nicely in this black base. Reminds me of one of my all-time favorite nail polishes, which is Zoya Storm. So I'm always on the lookout for a black jelly with holo, and this one does not disappoint. And here we have Sagittarius. This one's an orange. It's a really sunny, bright, kind of pumpkin-y orange with a great formula. Definitely one of the more jelly polishes, so you'll probably want this one built up in 3 coats, but these all build up very easily in 3 coats. They dry quickly in between. I didn't experience any of that unfortunate situation where you put on too many coats of polish and then they kind of drag and get goopy. That didn't happen here. And this is just a really happy color, which I think suits the Sagittarius vibe. It's a little bit chaotic, but it's fun. So again, 3 coats on the index, 2 coats on the middle. And you can see the holo really nicely through this one, which is great. And this is also great probably for Halloween. You could definitely do Sagittarius and Scorpio for some Halloween nail art, even if it was just a Skittle. So that's the collection. And here I'm going to do a little comparison with a holo taco flake jelly or Bite Me, and then Cancer from Glisten Glow, which I thought was the closest in color. Now you can see that obviously the Holo Taco has more holo in it. I think they're also smaller flakes, but to me, in terms of their Halloween-ness, I think that they're on par with each other. They both definitely pick up the light. You can see in that blurry shot, there's some rainbowy action happening there. It's all just a matter of the quantity, the size, but I think they're both beautiful polishes in their own right. I just thought this might be helpful for some context if people are like, oh, these don't look that hollow, but here you can see in the sun that they both are very holographic. It's just that the density, I would say, of the Holo Taco is more, but I feel like I chose Holo Taco because most people feel like Holo Taco is the gold standard when it comes to holo, so that was my reason for choosing the Holo Taco. And now we're doing nail art, which almost never happens on here, but I was in a mood and I was inspired by the rainbow. So I just kind of took colors in the order of the rainbow. I believe I started with Capricorn. I'm applying it to half of my nail. It's very easy to get a precise application with these polishes. And because they're jellies, they kind of blend nicely, so you get what almost looks like a sponge gradient without any of the effort. So I started with Cancer, went in with Sagittarius, now I'm going in with Leo. And next we have Taurus. That creates like a really fun, almost limey combo in the middle of Taurus and Leo. Then you will see the beautiful Aries, which is that rich teal. Then I'm going to hit the other half of my nail with Aquarius. Those to me look so good beside each other. It's almost a bit subtle. I will be building this up in 2 coats, by the way, but you can see even in 1 coat this gives like a really fun, light, summery vibe. Now we're going in with Virgo. It's such a beautiful purple. Honestly, I really like that shade of purple. And then Cancer on the other half. These nails made me really happy. I wore them out, got a lot of compliments, and I just wanted to tell everybody that it was so easy, and a lot of them thought maybe I got my nails done, but no, it's DIY. And honestly, if you do like nail art, if you like rainbows, then definitely consider picking up this collection. I mean, you could even pick up these more primary colors, skip the dark ones if you don't want them, but there is a slight discount if you buy the entire collection. You basically end up getting them for $10 each. It's $120 for the collection. Individually, it's $11.50. You can see with those second coats that everything just deepens up a tiny bit. And this is just, again, such a fun mani. I didn't show my thumb, but my thumb was, I believe, or you'll see it in a second, but it's the coral. Oh, okay, so it's Gemini and Capricorn on my thumb. But here you can hopefully see how pretty these are. They're really squishy looking. Such an easy way to get this really fun and happy holographic jelly rainbow nail. So that is the Zodiac Collection, and I love the Glisten Glow formula. It's consistently amazing. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you believe in astrology. And yeah, I guess that's it for me. Hopefully I will see you in my next video, and hopefully you have a great day wherever you are. Bye.